Hi Sagittarius, this is a past life reading for you. Wait, hold on. What's the connection to Jesus with that? Hold on, I just noticed that. It's the mentality, it's the, got it. Okay. We're going to talk about a couple places that you've been in your past lives. It's kind of important to understand yourself. This might help you understand why you feel so strongly about certain things, philosophies. You're like a modern day Aristotle, but people wouldn't know it because you're very creative and dynamic and very chill. For a Sagittarius, I think people already know you're an old soul. I feel like you already know that. If you have any Scorpio in your chart and you feel a connection to ancient Japan, maybe check that out, because the place we're going to talk to you about is not Japan, but before that migration, you had a past life living in a village under Mount Fuji in the 1800s. So the life we're going to be talking about right now is later than that, is kind of how I'm trying to figure out your timeline here. Because we're talking about Brazil. A beautiful, beautiful place in Brazil. A tiny village called Rosas. Rosas, Vila Albertina. Parque da Carreira de Campos do Jordão. Old City. Oh, I said that wrong. Parque de... Wait. Brazilian. How would they say that? Parque de Carreira. Old City, Sao Paulo. Pioneers. So the original people who settled in Sao Paulo, some of them were your people who originally came from this area. Oh, 1727. Fluctuating seasons. So this is after that. So we're talking 1800s here. You had a life in Vila Rosa. A very beautiful place by the mountains in Brazil. Gaius? How would they say that? Gaius? The Agradores. And they literally do that. That's right. I remember this picture. Okay. Sorry, I think I'm just kind of talking out loud right now. If you have a very almost visceral, violent reaction to KKK ideology, Nazi sort of final solution type mentality, I don't know. I'm kind of getting that you might have resonated with another one of the readings through your other signs, because you go back to ancient Rome, ancient Greece, by way of ancient Eurasia, by way of... Okay. So, that explains that. I see you as kind of this wandering soul, traveling all over the world, from lifetime to lifetime, but kind of always alone. And this is going to touch on that. On why you felt it necessary to find your own peace, to build your own community of personal philosophy, power, balance. You leave the old out, out with the old, in with the new. As far as being an innovator and I'm really dancing around this. Where should I start? There was a past life, okay, here in Brazil, in this beautiful, beautiful setting, where you couldn't believe something like this would happen, but you were, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. You were murdered and dumped in the lake by a wicked lover and their wicked mama, or their, there's 3 people that were involved here, and we'll go over that. So those could be archetypes that you instantly feel sickened by, or something like that, and it goes all the way back. So there's a situation that must be coming up. If this is full circle moment for you, where you already know to choose peace, you already know to choose balance or your own happiness, your own bliss, what makes you emotionally satisfied, what works for you in your world that you built based on your philosophies, based on your wisdom, and all these lessons. Like with the Scorpio reading, it was a young samurai warrior who ran into a sociopath and didn't understand that it was like a warring competitor for whoever he was or she was. This is the same kind of thing. It was a secret competition that portrayed itself as love. But this time, I think it was just a sort of, where in the last reading, it was the psychopath sought them out to kind of secretly keep them as a sex slave. I'm just going to say, I think that's where that was trying to go, if I was reading that correctly. This would be a situation where the sociopath was your friend, or you just happened to know them. I'm getting that you were both orphaned, or your parents it was a situation where you both grew up in an orphanage, and you learned the hard way that this person that you thought you could love and trust. Let me show you these cards, because this is very specific. Oh, so by the way, in this town, to this day, they believe in ghosts, they believe in demons, in werewolves. Okay, so if you're someone who is attracted to that mythology, or if you're just like, oh yeah, I already know that sort of dark magic is real. Yeah, it's probably because you experienced it yourself in a life. Oh, this person was like a werewolf. They were like a dark magician. This was like a demon walking. They were part of the stonemasons, so if you have a reaction to the whole like Illuminati stonemason symbology, that could be why. The KKK thing, that could go back to, if you related to another one of the old Italian readings, is something about being one of the first Christians, like real Christians. And so you would have been there around the time that Jesus was killed, okay? And, yeah. Okay, got it. So the KKK, oh yeah. So they would simulate the Romans' arrest of Jesus with the torches in the streets here in this Vila Rosa to commemorate, to remember, to remind us. To simulate the Romans' arrest of Jesus. Do you know what they're wearing? Do you know what they look like? Do you know what that looks like? If you were to look up that festival, they're dressed like the KKK. Okay? So, those that want to live in and that's real. That's what it was like. Those that want to live in a fantasy that those that killed Jesus were like wild-haired Jewish clerics or something. No, they were dressed like the KKK. And underneath that, they were blonde-haired, not specifically blonde-haired, blue-eyed. It was that Roman mentality, that Nazi mentality that goes all the way back. So there's a philosophy that you stand strong in. You could have been one of those people that was teaching people in Brazil about what you had learned so long ago in a past life from this butcher in this beautiful town. You wouldn't think that this thing would happen in such a beautiful setting is what I'm getting. But it did. Okay, I feel like at that point you were all already an ascended master by the time you got to Brazil. Let me touch on the how you ended up like spiritually as an archetype there as opposed to Japan where you were before. Hold on. Should I... Is that the same? Was this the person? Is this the person from that past life too? Okay. I learned something new doing this. I love doing this now. I might do this for another round here, but... $1873? Wait a minute. Did you go from Asia to South America back to Japan? Because this is more modern Japan. Am I getting it backwards? Y'all, reverse it if I'm being hella ignorant here, because you had something to do with the blood tax riots. Okay, so this is a violent Japanese uprising in 1873. Oh, so if there was a connection to that samurai life, it was because after this, you decided to wake up and choose violence for a few lifetimes, which is what we do when it's thrust upon us by sociopaths, and we don't understand it because we're kind of like this, living in a childlike wonder. If you have Scorpio in your chart, maybe check that out. I think this might be the same butcher from this orphan situation who was actually not a lover, who was a competitor. Because, yeah, I feel like as a soul, you could throw a dart at the map and go anywhere and maybe incarnate anywhere if you're one of the original matriarchs or patriarchs, especially just in general. So by that time, you were teaching people about what it meant to be Japanese, maybe? And it was like the new fighting the old. It was an opposition to mandatory military service. Okay, so if you have a kind of a violent, vehement feeling or philosophy or prerogative about forced military service, that's why. It's because you saw way back then in Japan, in between those years of more ancient and more modern, where you saw unnecessary lives lost. Men who were never made for military service, like the one from the Cancer past life reading. It's like building a ship to wreck it, and there's no honor there. There's no, like, honoring the ancestors, having respect for the other members of the clan, because it seems like there was some sort of an evil father who, instead of passing out the territories to the sons like he should and daughters like he should have, and I don't know the story correctly, please forgive me, but he got greedy, he got selfish, he wanted all of the power for himself. He became a dark dragon in a cave. He wanted all the gold for himself, all the wives for himself. It's the mentality of this butcher that you encountered. Three of Swords, the Tower, Knight of Pentacles, birth, frigidity. Okay, so you also understand that there are those who will join a war just to kill. And that's not the way either. You have a very advanced, evolved understanding of the war machine, of the human spirit, of mob mentality, of the final solution. I am the only king, it is my only way, everyone else can get trampled. You saw that in real time. You saw that with somebody that you loved, that you grew up with, that you saw as a brother or sister. You saw that happen in real time. I think that was this life in Brazil, where you realized too late what a true sociopath was from a different point of view, as a friend instead of as a victim. But everyone ends up being a victim of these kind of people, and they always have that kind of mentality. Always. It's always that Nazi shit. It always is. And that goes for all races, all shapes, all genders, all sizes. I've seen, I'll call them people, incarnate over time from one race to another race to another race, but always being that Nazi, always hating everybody else. Always hating everybody else. And then you born into the next tribe that you hated, and you hate whoever you were before. And it's just this sick snake eating its own tail. And I think that you've seen that in real life. So you have no patience for that. You have no patience. Yeah, you're not meant to. That's exactly who you need to be. So let's talk about this. The blood tax riots. If you ever ended up in America, it was after this. It's because you had that original background as a samurai. Okay, you had that original understanding of what a warrior was. You could have even had like an ancient Chinese, like Shaolin background if you want to get back. It could have been that you had an ancient warrior mother with ancient Chinese heritage and a ancient Japanese warrior father. So it's like you got warriors on one side, warriors on the other side, and the balance and the peace that you found from that. And it's like coming from two fire-breathing dragons, and here you are, finding peace, finding joy, understanding loyalty. You have come a long way. And you won't let anybody knock you off course, knock you off balance. And you won't let anybody get into your head either. So let's bring it back to modern time right now. If this resonates, if you're with me and you are young and you have someone trying to talk you into military service, but it's not required of you, and you're doing all right, and you're happy with your independence as maybe you're about to fall in love. I'm just going to say that. Maybe you're about to fall in love after being this lone, wandering philosopher for all this time. But back then, you were trying to teach those younger samurai that there's something to be protected in the old way, in the loyalty to the family, to the higher law. You honor the higher law. You honor the natural law. It's like with all the religions that I see in the world, there's beauty there, but it's been corrupted. And I think that whoever you are, you saw that with what was happening, the change, the new fighting the old. Maybe in a past life you were that new fighting the old and you found yourself as a wizened elder, trying to protect what was beautiful about the ancient way of the samurai. Because this is what happened here, and I didn't know this. The blood tax riots. It was a violent Japanese uprising. Okay, so it was the original samurais, the original farmers, uprising against these criminal overlords who had that philosophy, this butcher philosophy, where there were no sons, there were no daughters, there were no others. It's very Saturnalian, very Saturnalian. You build that ship to wreck it, right? You have children to use, to consume. That is what the mentality where you can just hire mercenaries. Okay, so hired mercenaries is not the same as being a warrior, is it? And so you are part of teaching those younger, maybe even farmers, how to fight that, how to fight tyranny, what it looks like when it's coming to you, but in a way that incorporates wisdom and peace and philosophy and balance. So you opposed this new, so this tyranny comes in, takes over, and says, "You're all my soldiers now, you'll go kill for me now." And they say, "No." And then he goes out and hires a bunch of mercenaries. It's kill for pay, pay to kill. And there was a kill order. Okay, so yeah, shoot to kill order. Shoot to kill orders from the hired mercenaries. And it didn't matter what the farmers had done for the country. It didn't matter what the original warriors had done for the country. There was a shoot to kill order for all of them from this, and I'm not saying this correctly, I'm sorry, Meiji regime. Okay? So the uprising was successful, but only for so long. So I believe that the way that you died in that life was defending people's right to fight if they want to, and people's right to not fight if that's not where they are as an archetype in their own hero's journey. Because at that point you understand all of that. You understood all of that. And you still understand that. Okay? So what does that have to do with this life in Brazil, in this beautiful town? It must have something to do with that Nazi mentality. With reminding people. It could be that you were one of the originators of that tradition. Let's not pretend like we're Christian and dress up in KKK robes. It's the exact opposite. So I don't feel like you're religious. I feel like you're a philosopher. I feel like you're very unbiased. People might not see you that way. But you leave your emotions out of it when you have to, and that brings you emotional satisfaction because that is what is called for. For your peace, for your stability in the kingdom you're creating, because that's really what we're talking about. The kingdom you're creating, who you allow in, who you don't allow in, whether they're family, whether they're friends. Let's talk about that real quick, what happened to you, okay? Oh, and I asked if you were somewhere in the United States, just if you happen to have that connection. So, Washington, maybe? New England, Northeast, Nebraska. Southdale, South Dakota. Yes. Down south. KV, VK. If you're in the UK, maybe in the UK, or VK. I don't know. Okay. So this is about someone that you trusted, that you protected. Maybe you were a little bit younger than them, but you treated them like a brother, like a sister. So, wait, is this an archetype or the sign? Do you know about astrology? It's a sign. You know about astrology. The archetype is the sign because you know about astrology. I'm sorry. I'm hella ignorant when it comes to astrology. So they're patting me on the head. Okay, the archetype is the archetype is the astrology with you. So a Knight of Pentacles, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, young Taurus. I'm getting young with a, so the way I would see it is like a major in Taurus with a minor in Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. They could very much look like that. God, that reminds me of my kid from a past life. It's like that's who they are. I think maybe at the time you made excuses for them as a friend because you both came from this orphanage. If this person is in your life if this person is in your life right now, it's not to that degree, but there's still a danger to you. So, am I getting there? Yeah. You're in control. It could completely knock you off balance if you let this person get into your head or change your philosophy or talk you out of who you know that you are already. You just needed a minor adjustment, which is cutting this person out for good. So you can do it. You can do it. Yeah, this person was born cold, born frigid. Do I have this book here? Oh, I don't. Let me... Okay. In this person's head, they are royalty and everyone else is scum. It's a very, draconian way of thinking. This person is that. They are that. That's who they are. They are a butcher. They are... Ooh. They have weird fetishes with hurting people or starving people or feeding people. They're intimidating. They're domineering. They're intolerant. They probably have, they would say it's a dark sense of humor, but it's just that Nazi ideology. You maybe didn't see it for what it was then, but you see it for what it is now. Okay. They're privileged. They're privileged. Now, it's like, how did y'all grow up with nothing and they ended up so wealthy and you're still trying to make ends meet? Or that was then. You didn't understand why. It's because they were initiated into a secret society. And they were doing things to hurt you. And that goes on to this day. So this would have been like an ancient Illuminati handler. So it would be like the master telling the young one to degrade you, to hurt you. Foster care. Or you were a foster child in their family and they teamed up on you and you ended up dead because you didn't know what that looked like at the time. Erection, foster care. Don't fall in love with ideas. It's like you loved the idea of living in a beautiful, peaceful place. And so it could be that you might have been even more of a nature baby and you were kind of shuttled into this place. And you loved the idea of having a best friend, or you loved the idea of falling in love with... Maybe it was safe for you as far as the outside world, but it's like the true monster was your best friend there. And I think you fell in love with this person, and I think they knew how to get you to fall in love with them. So it's like with the modern handlers, like they do even with pop stars that we know and love, who are victims. They think they're dating a guy and he's just like sexually edgy and he's just into some, kinky stuff. But no, he's receiving directions from his disturbed, satanic, demented controller to degrade this beautiful spirit, which this is who you are, okay? And tape it. They do that to this day. Does the girl or the boy know they're being taped by their boyfriend or girlfriend? Hell no, they never say that. It's all a secret. It's all a joke on everyone else. These ones. So I feel like there was some love on your part, but it was just, like whoever this is, like I said, they build their ships to wreck. Any sort of initiation into a romance with them is just a death trap. It's a trap door. It's a trap door to death, okay? And you just didn't understand that at the time. So it's like these handlers training the new generation of handlers. They'll tell them to degrade whoever these are. These are young, beautiful, talented, gifted, special people who should be protected, not exploited. They will film them doing that. And then they will send that tape to the handler. And the handler will say, okay, now I want you to watch that tape and I want you to masturbate to it. And I'm going to masturbate to watching you masturbating, to watching you degrading this beautiful, special spirit. Because if you can get them in a degraded place, then the low entities can sort of be there. They can kind of, it's the same kind, the same kind of vibration for them to kind of exist there. And I feel like I'm speaking to the choir here. So if you know this already, it stems all the way back from someone you thought was a friend your entire life, who turned out to just be a butcher. You thought we're going through all of this together, and I think a lot of the trauma happened at this place because of this person, and you didn't understand that they were your enemy, not your friend, not your lover. So I'm speaking to the choir here. This goes all the way back, okay? Way before Brazil, way before those riots in Japan and the shoot to kill order. But it's the same philosophy. It's the same mentality. So what happened was this. By the way, yeah, if you guided by darkness, if they are still in your life, yes, they are still guided by darkness. They still are. But there is an unofficial investigation, meaning they might have higher-ups who are connected to higher-ups who knows what's going on everywhere, but they don't understand. They don't know about this unofficial investigation. You could be a part of this karma, like you could be a karma police, karma warrior. Oh, I just got chills. Oh, undercover, let me shut up. Let me not bust anybody. Karma never forgets a face. This is part of their karma, to get busted. It might not have even have anything to do, it won't have anything to do with you. They're still doing the same stuff, and they're about to get completely busted for it. And there's something that you've done to help out that investigation. Whenever I was like, the higher powers say, thank you so much. Thank you for your help with this. Okay, because they're about to... This is someone who saw you. Yeah. I don't know if I want to get into this. If I'm preaching to the choir already, you know. Invasion, scooping up true matriarchs, patriarchs, using them as playthings to degrade them. If you were a warrior for a very long time, that's exactly who you needed to be. In the other one, it was what should be the only study of a prince or something. This person, if you do know them to this day, Page of Wands. So this time they might be a young fire sign. So this is the one that's getting initiated into this secret society by pledging to hurt you. And you're like, nah. They just don't know that yet. They think they're getting away with it. And a Queen of Cups in reverse. You know what I'm getting here? I'm getting the most disgusting thing where... Did y'all ever see Game of Thrones where there was that scary queen who was breastfeeding her son till he was like 8? She was like completely demented and he was completely demented, and they used to have that hole in the floor and just drop people through it. If not, Is this someone, a young fire sign? They might be very, very successful. They're very standoffish, and they might be going through it right now, literally because of what they did to you. It's like you can only do black magic for so long. Them demons are coming for you. It's like they came out the portal, saw who you were, and were like, nope. You know how to create a world of peace. And anyone who's trying to invade that well-defined barrier is going to be buried. Woo! Ah! Oh, I got the absolute creeps and the absolute chills. So, yeah, you know, it is the way of the universe. What you want to do to someone else is done to you. This isn't a nice, gentle, karmic lesson. You know, when we do things that we just don't understand, we kind of sometimes get nice karmic lessons. It'll be, you know, lifetimes later, where we see things from all the different perspectives, and we understand why we don't do that. No, this is not that kind of karmic lesson. This is someone who wants to hurt, wants to maim, wants to hurt. This is the KKK. This is the Nazi mentality. This is the ends justify the mean, the Saturnian mindset. Create to consume, or create to abandon. That philosophy doesn't belong in this new world that you're going to help fortify. They saw you as an extraterrestrial, or they do right now. Okay, so that's very dangerous. We need to understand, and I've been guilty of this here and there, where I feel like I could watch my words better because people out there in these streets ain't right. And we need to remember that we're all brothers and sisters. That's the truth. We're all from star families, and they're all related. And a human being is a human being. A human spirit looks like a human spirit no matter what race you are, no matter how rich you are. Some debutante in a castle in Bavaria has the same spirit that a poor person in the street in Calcutta does. It's human beings. We're human beings, and we have human spirits. Now, this is, I think, a break on through. And I've talked about that before. Whoever you are, you know what I mean right there. This is a break on through. So in a way, you kind of know it when you see it. So at this point, with these cards and philosophy, I think all you have to do is just sit back and watch yourself be right. You're like, oh wow, I hate it when I'm right sometimes, but at least this time you're out of the way. So what happened was, by the way, this is you. Temperance, Six of Swords, Ace of Wands, the Empress, the King of Wands. Nothing can stop you. Nothing can touch you. I mean, it would have to be a deliberate choice to jump back into that cesspool, whatever that means to you. Because there's no life there for that. This is the end of that. Going back a long time. This is the end of that. Okay. You will live in power. You will live in peace, in creation. Oh, God, Ace of Wands, that's so beautiful for you. Yeah, it's understanding in the ways that you were being drained in the past by the people around you. So congratulations. Congratulations. There might be one more thing before you completely complete this cycle. And I think I know what it is. Do you already know what it is? Oh, wow. Shocker. Shocked Pikachu face. Just kidding. So you're going... Hell annoying. I know that. I'm sorry. Because you went inside, because you found your own light, your own truth. Not because you read it in a book, because you've lived it since times BC. Okay. The next thing that will bring you that full circle moment is really aligning with your true soulmate. Here we got the Knight of Cups, the Two of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune. Okay? You did everything. It's like you wouldn't rest. You couldn't rest. So if you're starting to feel like, wow, I'm kind of winding down here. I'm feeling like I can be really proud of who I am and what I've done. Then that's successful. If you already feel that, that's beautiful. And if you have Scorpio in your chart, you let the past die like you were supposed to, and that will bring you peace and balance. And if you are young and this resonates, do not let anybody talk you into military service just because they think that it's okay. It could just be another one of those a rehashing of the same thing, the snake eating its tail. The feudal lord, the Saturnian mentality that if you won't kill for me when I tell you to, then I'll kill you. There's no beauty there to be protected. What you know about loyalty, royalty, and warriorship is what needs to be protected. And you as an elder, even if you do feel like an extraterrestrial, like now you're like, okay, yeah, so what? We all are from different star systems, but we all are brothers and sisters. So with that sort of wizened soul mentality, you separate yourself from the philosophies as like wheat to the chaff in real time with your decisions with that Two of Wands, and that true love will come in and you'll be able to like retire and just retire into your true love's arms. But this isn't about that. Ooh, I gotta go, y'all. I'm so sorry. Should I pull one more before I... Did I tell you that... Okay. So your best friend in this beautiful place in Brazil, they saw that you were teaching people about what philosophy really killed Jesus. And they didn't like that. Because they were secretly like, yeah, I'm gonna dress up in sheets later, you know, but you didn't really know that. So, them, along with a sneaky little younger fire sign with a really disturbed mother, I'm getting really, really long. What kind? Does it matter? I mean, would you even, if that was back then, how would you know? Arctic hair? Arctic. What does that mean? Let me just pull this. Oh. Okay. If they're demonic people, you know, this mother was a demonic person. I'm getting Arctic, so like she would have an Inuit hair or face. I don't know if this is modern times and you know these people. This person's mother has had plastic surgery and they've had plastic surgery. It's like they hate everybody else that isn't their ethnicity, but they're trying to change how they look in their face so they don't look so much like that ethnicity. I am really confused. Spirit's like, it's okay, patting me on the head. It's okay. So if that's the situation, they haven't changed. They still have that philosophy. They're not going to say it now because you can't just be out in these streets like a Nazi. I mean, we got a little taste of that after Donald Trump got elected, right? Like all those hate crimes were up everywhere. And it was this thing that Kanye West said. And he's like, okay, well, we'll see who's who now, right? And I think he was right about that. And I think that you're right about this person if they're still in your life. It's a younger fire sign who might be very attractive. And this is connected to that demonic person who was a younger earth sign, but this fire sign's younger than them. And what had happened was the butcher, and I think that's what he was. You know, someone who, it's like the the scientist from the human caterpillar, right? I mean, that's who those demons really are. They don't have human spirits. Like, if you were to see their spirit, you'd see something else. They've never been human. They will never be human. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. I'm preaching to the choir is just what I'm hearing again here. So if this is still in your life, keep out anyone that has those associations. Keep away anyone that is, throwing horns and pretending like they ain't. Stay away from anyone who has a Nazi mentality, no matter what ethnicity, race, gender, or age they are. And if you are young and someone's trying to make you feel bad about not going in the military, like if none of that resonates and you're still with me, someone wants to make you feel bad about not going in the military because they have to, no. I mean, really, it's just like, no. Little young spirit. No. It's very much that, because you are the old wizened spirit. You're not going to let misguided youth, if you are older, act like they know something you don't. And if you are younger, you're not going to let these kind of demonic influences around you who really only want your death. They really only see you as a competitor or as like an extraterrestrial to be wiped out. Like, some people are that brainwashed, okay, and that's a little scary. I'm a little worried, having watched in the last 30 years the powers that be try to divide people and set them on each other. And I'm worried about we're aliens and we kill aliens groups that, okay, I'm not going to get into that. Whoever you are, you fought the battles that you had to fight. You fought the good fight. And you're about to have a loving relationship come in. So if it chooses you, choose it. And know you've done your time. And I bow to you and I thank you. And I'll see you for the next one, all right? Sagittarius. I'm Walker. This is Dance Walker Terrio. Ontario could be significant. Should I pull something else on that? 7 of Cups. Whoa! Ooh, I just got chills. Yeah, whoever... Ooh. If this person is still in your life... Yeah, it's not like they get stronger and more evil and stronger and more evil. No, they just get more batshit crazy, more crazy, more crazy, more crazy. That's what black magic does. That's what choosing that does, especially if you are a human being and you're just like, I associate with that. Like, I relate to that. No, you did about 3 lifetimes of that from what I've noticed just in this round of incarnations for myself and some of the others that I knew as young little spirits. It takes about 4 lifetimes to go from we're all doing this demon to complete insanity, maniac in the street, don't know who you are, where you are, what to do, smearing feces all over yourself. So if karma never forgets a face and you don't have to do a thing but sit back, fall in love, and be fucking happy for the rest of your life, know that the karma is that. Their own mind, their own spirit is their own karma. It's like madness above madness above madness. So if you see something creepy in someone's eyes, if you see them change, you go no contact starting today. Because they're just another cog in the wheel of war, of domination, of destruction, of consumption. All right, and I need to stop talking. All right, Sagittarius, if that resonates, comment below because I have no idea what I'm talking about. Love you guys. See you for the next one. Bye-bye.